Welcome to the Year 4 Mini Mock 1 video walkthrough. We are going to go through each question together and explore the correct answers. Let's start with question 1. The question asks, I blank happy to help with the school fair. Your choices are A, am, B, is, C, are, D, be. When we use the pronoun I, which refers to yourself, the correct verb to use is am. So the correct answer here is A, am. Now, why aren't the other choices correct? Well, is generally used for singular pronouns like he, she, or it. Are is used for plural pronouns like you, we, or they. And be is the base form of the verb and doesn't fit in this particular sentence. Moving on to question 2. The question is, she blanked the captain of the netball team. Your choices are A, are, B, is, C, am, D, be. Here, the pronoun is she, which is singular. For she, we use the verb is. So the correct answer is B, is. Are and am don't agree with the singular pronoun she. And again, be is not the correct form to use in this sentence. Let's look at question 3. The question asks, they blank excited about the school trip. Your choices are A, is, B, are, C, am, D, be. In this sentence, the pronoun is they, which refers to more than one person. For they, we use the verb are. Therefore, the correct answer is B, are. Is for singular subjects. Am is only used with I. And be is the base form and doesn't fit here. Now for question 4. The question is, blank a rainbow above the houses. Your choices are A, there is, B, there are, C, they are, D, there is. We are talking about a rainbow, which is just one rainbow. When we have a singular noun, we use there is. So the correct answer is A, there is. There are is used for plural nouns. They are would change the meaning of the sentence entirely. And there is has incorrect spelling and grammar. Next, question 5. The question states, blank 2 pencils on your desk. Your choices are A, there is, B, there are, C, there were, D, there be. Here we have 2 pencils, which is plural, meaning more than one. For plural nouns in the present tense, we use there are. So the correct answer is B, there are. There is for singular nouns. There were is in the past tense, and we're talking about something in the present. There be is not a standard phrase in this context. Let's move to vocabulary with question 6. The question asks, choose the word closest in meaning to tidy. Your choices are A, early, B, empty, C, neat, D, noisy. Tidy means to be clean and organized. The word that means almost the same thing as tidy is neat. So the correct answer is C, neat. Early has to do with time, empty means there's nothing inside, and noisy describes sound. Question 7 asks, choose the word closest in meaning to brave. Your choices are A, worried, B, courageous, C, careful, D, quiet. Brave means showing no fear or being ready to face danger. The word that is closest in meaning to brave is courageous. So the correct answer is B, courageous. Worried is the opposite of brave. Careful means being cautious, and quiet describes a lack of sound. Moving on to types of nouns with question 8. The question is, which word is a proper noun? Your choices are A, river, B, city, C, London, D, teacher. A proper noun is a specific name for a person, place, or thing, and it's always capitalized. London is the specific name of a city, and it's capitalized. So the correct answer is C, London. River, city, and teacher are common nouns. They refer to general categories, not specific names. Finally, question 9. The question asks, which noun is abstract? Your choices are A, bicycle, B, ice, C, happiness, D, window. An abstract noun is something you cannot touch or see. It's an idea, a feeling, or a quality. Happiness is a feeling that you experience, but you can't physically touch it. So the correct answer is C, happiness. Bicycle, ice, and window are all physical things that you can see and touch. Question 10. The question asks us to choose the correct feminine form of prince. Our choices are A. Princess, B. Queen, C. Lady, and D. Duchess. Now, a prince is a royal male, and the direct feminine or female equivalent of a prince is a princess. Think of stories and fairy tales. Often there's a prince and a princess. So the correct answer here is A. Princess. Why aren't the others correct, you might ask? Well, a queen is the female ruler of a country, usually the wife of a king. A lady is a general term for a woman, often a polite or formal way to refer to her. And a duchess is the wife or widow of a duke, or a woman who holds the rank of duke in her own right. These are all different titles and not the direct feminine pair for a prince. Moving on to question 11. This question asks us to choose the correct feminine form to complete the sentence. The team cheered for the lead blank in the play. Our choices are A. Actor, B. Actress, C. Poet, and D. Author. The sentence is talking about someone performing in a play. When we talk about a male person performing in a play, we use the word actor. So the sentence is looking for the feminine or female form of actor. The feminine form of actor is actress. Therefore, the correct answer is B. Actress. Let's think about why the other choices don't fit. Actor A is the masculine form, so it wouldn't be the correct feminine form. Poet C is a person who writes poems, and author D is a person who writes books or stories. While some poets and authors can be female, these words don't specifically show the feminine pair in the context of someone performing in a play. Next, question 12. This question asks, which pair shows a masculine and feminine form of the same noun? Our choices are A. Nephew and niece, B. King and princess, C. Waiter and queen, and D. Father and lady. We're looking for a pair where one word is the male version and the other is the female version of the same type of person or role. Let's look at choice A, nephew and niece. A nephew is the son of your brother or sister, and a niece is the daughter of your brother or sister. These are definitely the male and female forms of the same family relationship. So the correct answer is A, nephew and niece. Now let's consider why the other pairs aren't right. Choice B, king and princess, mixes unrelated titles. A king is a male ruler, and a princess is the daughter of a king or queen. They are not a direct masculine and feminine pair in the same way. Choice C, waiter and queen, also mixes unrelated titles. A waiter serves food, and a queen is a female ruler. And finally, choice D, father and lady, also mixes different roles. A father is a male parent, and a lady, as we discussed earlier, is a general term for a woman. Let's go to question 13. This question asks, using the passage about Albert and Jane, we can tell that Albert likes to go to the beach because it is blank. Our choices are A, fun, B, beautiful, C, peaceful, and D, boring. The explanation tells us that Albert talks about relaxing, the quiet, and sleeping well. These are all feelings and experiences that point to the beach being peaceful for him. When something is peaceful, it's calm and quiet, and it helps you feel relaxed and sleep well. So the correct answer is C, peaceful. Why not the others? Well, Albert never describes the beach as boring. And while the beach might be fun or beautiful, the main reasons he gives, which are relaxing, the quiet, and sleeping well, all highlight the peaceful aspect of the beach for him. Moving on to question 14. This question asks, as used by Albert, anxiety belongs to which word group? Our choices are A, plan, agenda, schedule, B, sadness, misery, sorrow, C, pain, suffering, discomfort, and D, worry, tension, concern. The explanation tells us that anxiety means worry or nervous tension. When you feel anxiety, you often feel worried, tense, or concerned about something. So the correct answer is D, worry, tension, concern. Let's see why the other groups don't fit as well. Group A, plan, agenda, schedule, refers to organizing things. Group B, sadness, misery, sorrow, describes feelings of unhappiness. Group C, pain, suffering, discomfort, describes physical or emotional distress. While anxiety can cause discomfort, the core meaning of anxiety is more closely related to worry and tension. Now, let's look at question 15. This question asks, from the passage, we can tell that Jane likes the mountains because she enjoys blank. Our choices are A, peace and quiet, B, going sledding when it snows, C, spending time outdoors, and D, collecting wildflowers. The passage tells us that Jane loves outdoor activities like hiking, biking, and climbing. These are all activities you do outside, in nature. So her main reason for liking the mountains is that she enjoys spending time outdoors. Therefore, the correct answer is C, spending time outdoors. Let's think about the other options. Jane actually seeks excitement, which is the opposite of peace and quiet. Sledding is an activity she might do sometimes, but only when it snows, and it's not her main or only reason for liking the mountains. While collecting wildflowers is mentioned, it's not described as her main aim or primary enjoyment of the mountains. Next up, question 16. This question asks, what did Jane try for the first time last summer? Our choices are A, hiking, B, rock climbing, C, mountain biking, and D, snowboarding. The passage explicitly states that she tried rock climbing for the first time last summer. This is a direct piece of information from the text. So the correct answer is B, rock climbing. Why not the others? The passage tells us that Jane already hikes and bikes, so she didn't try those for the first time last summer. Snowboarding is a winter sport, and the question specifies last summer, so that wouldn't fit. Moving on to question 17. This question asks, if Jane goes to the beach instead of the mountains, what would she most likely enjoy doing there? Our choices are A, fishing, B, surfing, C, lying on the beach, and D, taking a walk. We know from the passage that Jane likes daring and exciting activities. When we think about beach activities, surfing definitely fits her adventurous style. It's an active and somewhat risky sport. So the correct answer is B, surfing. Let's consider why the other options are less likely for Jane. Fishing, lying on the beach, or just taking a walk are all much calmer activities. While these are enjoyable for some, they don't align with Jane's preference for excitement and daring activities as described in the passage. Now, question 18. This question asks, as used by Jane, what is the best definition for daredevil? Our choices are A, a person who likes to exercise outside, B, a person who loves the snow and ice, C, a person who is not afraid to take risks, and D, a person who likes the mountains. The explanation tells us that a daredevil describes someone who takes risks. Question 19. The question asks us, which statement would Albert and Jane most likely agree with? Our choices are A, a holiday is a time to relax, B, it is good to try new things on holiday, C, a holiday is a chance to do things you enjoy, and D, the mountains are better than the beach in winter. Now, remember, Albert likes to go to the beach because he finds it peaceful and relaxing. He enjoys the quiet and sleeping well. Jane, on the other hand, loves the mountains because she enjoys exciting outdoor activities like hiking, biking, and rock climbing. Even though Albert and Jane like very different kinds of holidays, one thing they both do is choose activities and places that they personally enjoy the most. Albert enjoys relaxing, and Jane enjoys adventure. So the idea that a holiday is a chance to do things you enjoy is something they would both agree on, even if what they enjoy is different. So the correct answer is C. A holiday is a chance to do things you enjoy. Let's think about why the other statements might not be true for both of them. Choice A, a holiday is a time to relax, is something Albert would definitely agree with. But Jane, who seeks out adventurous and active things, might not see a holiday only as a time to relax. She wants to be active. Choice B, it is good to try new things on holiday, is something Jane would agree with, since she tried rock climbing for the first time. However, Albert seems to enjoy his routine of quiet relaxation at the beach, and the passage doesn't suggest he's always looking for new experiences, so they might not both agree on this. Choice D, the mountains are better than the beach in winter, is a statement of opinion. Since Albert loves the beach and Jane loves the mountains, they would likely disagree on which place is better, especially depending on the season. Their preferences are different. Now, let's move on to the questions about Charlotte's Web, where we're completing sentences. Our word choices are A, piglets, B, persuade, C, friendship, D, hatch, E, snubbed. Let's look at question 20. The sentence to complete is, the story tells of Wilbur's blank with a barn spider named Charlotte. Think about what the whole story of Charlotte's Web is really about. It's a beautiful story about the very special bond that grows between Wilbur, a pig, and Charlotte, a spider. This deep connection, this strong bond they share, is called a friendship. Charlotte helps Wilbur, and they care deeply for each other. So the correct answer is C, friendship. Let's quickly review why the other words don't fit here. A, piglets are baby pigs. The story is not about Wilbur's piglets with Charlotte. It's about their relationship. B, persuade means to convince someone. This word is a verb and doesn't fit in this blank, which needs a noun describing their relationship. D. Hatch means for a baby to come out of an egg or to make a plan. This doesn't describe the relationship between Wilbur and Charlotte. E. Snubbed means ignored or rejected. This is the opposite of the strong bond they share. Next, question 21. The sentence to complete is, Charlotte writes messages in her web in order to blank the farmer to let Wilbur live. In the story, Charlotte is very clever and wants to save Wilbur from being turned into food. So she comes up with a plan to write amazing words in her web, like some pig and terrific, to make the farmer, Mr. Zuckerman, believe that Wilbur is special and should be kept alive. When you try to convince someone to do or believe something, you are trying to persuade them. Charlotte is trying to persuade the farmer. Therefore, the correct answer is B, persuade. Let's see why the other words wouldn't work here. A. Piglets are baby pigs. This doesn't make sense in the sentence. C. Friendship is the bond between them, but Charlotte isn't writing messages to Friendship the farmer. D. Hatch means to come out of an egg or make a plan. Charlotte isn't trying to hatch the farmer. E. Snubbed means ignored. Charlotte is trying to get the farmer's attention, not ignore him. Moving on to question 22. The sentence is, Fern pleads for the life of the runt of a litter of blank. At the very beginning of the story, Fern, a young girl, discovers that her father is going to kill the smallest piglet in a new group of baby pigs. A group of baby animals born at the same time, especially pigs, is called a litter. And those baby pigs themselves are called piglets. So she is saving the smallest piglet from a litter of piglets. So the correct answer is A, piglets. Let's look at why the other options are not correct. B, persuade is a verb and doesn't fit here. Fern isn't pleading for a litter of persuade. C, friendship is a relationship, not a group of baby animals. D, hatch refers to eggs or plans, not baby pigs. E, snubbed means ignored, which doesn't describe baby pigs. Finally, let's go to question 23. The sentence is, in Zuckerman's barnyard, Wilbur yearns for companionship, but is blank by the other animals. When Wilbur first arrives at Zuckerman's barn, he is a little pig who feels very lonely. He, quote, yearns for companionship, which means he really wants to have friends and someone to be with. However, the other animals in the barnyard are not very friendly to him at first. They act like they don't want him around. They ignore him or reject him. When someone ignores or rejects you, they snub you. Therefore, the correct answer is E, snubbed. Let's explain why the other words don't fit in this context. A, piglets are baby pigs. This word doesn't describe how the animals treat Wilbur. B, persuade means to convince. The animals aren't trying to persuade Wilbur. C, friendship is the bond of caring, which is what Wilbur wants but doesn't get at first from the other animals. He isn't friendshiped by them. D, hatch means to come out of an egg or make a plan. This doesn't describe the animal's behavior towards Wilbur. Question, Charlotte promises to blank a plan guaranteed to save his life. Your choices are a piglet, B, persuade, C, friendship, D, hatch, E, snubbed. The correct answer here is D, hatch. And that's because the phrase hatch a plan is a common way to say to create a plan. The other words just don't create a common or understandable phrase when paired with plan. Now, on to question 25. Question, put a full stop at the end of a blank. Your choices are A sentence, B sentence, C sentence, D sentence. The correct spelling for the word you're looking for is C, sentence. Choices A, B, and D are all misspellings of the word sentence. Moving on to question 26. Question, the match will blank in an hour. Your choices are A, continue, B, continue, C, continuous, D, continuous. Here, the correct verb that fits this sentence perfectly is A, continue. Let me explain why the others don't work. B, continue, is not a complete word. C, continuous, is an adjective, but we need a verb here to show action. And D, continuous, is simply a misspelling. Let's look at question 27. Question, Jim managed to blank the game. Your choices are A, complete, B, complete, C, complete, D, complete. The correct spelling in this case is A, complete. All the other options, B, C, and D, are misspellings. Now for question 28. Question, Pete said he has had blank now. Your choices are A, enough, B, enough, C, enough, D, enough. The correct spelling for this word is B, enough. Choices A, C, and D are all misspellings. Question 29 is next. Question: my blank pie is apple and raspberry. Your choices are A favorite, B favorite, C favorite, D Vaporite. For this question, the correct answer is C, favorite. This is because in United Kingdom spelling, the word is written with OU, like favorite. Choices A and D are misspellings. And while B, favorite, is a correct spelling, it's the American spelling and not the one we're using for this exercise. Let's go to question 30. Question: I got the blank right. Your choices are A answer, B answer, C answer, D answer. The correct spelling here is B, answer. Options A, C, and D are all misspellings. Now we're going to shift gears a little and look at identifying mistakes in sentences. This is for question 31. Question: I am going to the film with George. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Your choices are A, B, C, D, none. The mistake in this sentence is that the name George must start with a capital G. This part of the sentence is in group D, so the correct answer is D. The other parts of the sentence are perfectly fine and don't need any changes, so none would not be the correct choice here. Moving on to question 32. Question: Lille is an industrial city in northern France. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Your choices are A, B, C, D, none. Here, Lille is the name of a city, and all proper nouns, like city names, need to start with a capital letter. So Lille needs a capital L, and this is found in group A. The rest of the sentence is written correctly. Let's look at question 33. Question: Mrs. Flood went to London and bought a dress in Harrods. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Your choices are A, B, C, D, none. The mistake here is with Harrods. Harrods is a proper name, as it refers to a specific store, and therefore it needs to start with a capital H. This is in group D. The other parts of the sentence are correctly written. Now for question 34. Question: the President of the United States of America lives in the White House. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Your choices are A, B, C, D, none. In this sentence, all the capital letters are used correctly. There are no mistakes here, so the correct answer is none. Let's consider question 35. Question: the 1st of April is called Fool's Day. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Your choices are A, B, C, D, none. For the purpose of this particular exercise, we are accepting this sentence as correct. Therefore, the correct answer is none. No single group is marked as a mistake in the key for this item. Now we're on to question 36. Question: Maha is my cousin, and she lives in Kinshasa. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Your choices are A, B, C, D, none. Maha is a name, and like all names, it must begin with a capital M. This is found in group A. The rest of the sentence is written correctly. Let's look at question 37. Question: every Tuesday in June, she visits her Aunt Hannah. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Your choices are A, B, C, D, none. June is the name of a month, and all months need to start with a capital J. This is in group C. The other parts of the sentence are correct. Finally, question 38. Question: the Bangladeshi team should win on Saturday. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Your choices are A, B, C, D, none. The word Bangladeshi refers to a nationality, and nationalities, like proper nouns, should start with a capital B. This is in group A. The rest of the sentence is correct. With question 39, the question asks, last Sunday I visited my Aunt Irina. Choose the group with the mistake or choose none. Our choices are A, B, C, D, or none. In this sentence, we have a phrase that tells us when something happened. Last Sunday. When a phrase like this comes at the beginning of a sentence and modifies the entire sentence, it should typically be followed by a comma. This helps to separate the introductory phrase from the main part of the sentence and makes it easier to read. So the sentence should actually read, last Sunday, I visited my Aunt Irina. Therefore, the mistake is in group A because that is where the comma should be placed after Sunday. The correct answer is A. Now, why aren't the other choices correct? Well, the rest of the sentence, I visited my Aunt Irina, is grammatically correct as it stands. There are no other mistakes in the phrasing or spelling within the other groups. The only thing missing to make the sentence perfectly punctuated is that comma after Sunday. Move on to question 40. The patient blank around the hospital ward. Our choices are A, ran, B, jumped, or C, hobbled. When someone is a patient in a hospital ward, it usually means they are not feeling their best and might have some difficulty moving around. Hobbled means to walk with difficulty, often slowly or with a limp. This fits perfectly with how a patient might move. Ran is usually too fast and energetic for someone in a hospital, and jumped means moving up and down, which isn't typically how you'd move around a ward. So the best word to fill in the blank is hobbled. On to question 41. The soldier blank across the barrack square. Our options are A, flew, B, galloped, or C, marched. Soldiers are known for their very organized and rhythmic way of moving together in formation. This special way of walking is called marching. Flew would mean they were up in the air, which isn't possible without a machine. Galloped is how a horse moves quickly, so marched is the correct and most fitting word for a soldier crossing a barrack square. Next, question 42. The postwoman blank wearily through the snow. The choices are A, swam, B, crept, or C, plodded. The words wearily and snow give us some big clues. Wearily means tiredly, and walking through snow can be quite difficult and make you tired. Plodded means to walk heavily and slowly, which is exactly how you might walk when you're tired and trudging through snow. Swam is what you do in water, not snow. Crept means to move quietly and slowly, almost sneaking, which doesn't quite fit with feeling tired and walking heavily. So plodded is the best fit. Let's look at question 43. The baby blank across the floor. Our choices are A, sprinted, B, toddled, or C, strode. When babies first learn to walk, they take short, often wobbly steps. This adorable way of walking is called toddling. Sprinted means running very fast, which babies definitely don't do. Strode means taking long, confident steps, which is something older, more experienced walkers do. Therefore, toddled is the perfect word to describe a baby moving across the floor. Moving on to question 44. The firefighters saw the fire and blank down the street. The options are A, strolled, B, walked, or C, dashed. Imagine a firefighter seeing a fire. This is an emergency, right? They need to get there as quickly as possible. Dashed means to run or move very quickly and suddenly. Strolled means walking in a leisurely way, and walked is just a general term for moving at a regular pace. Neither of those is fast enough for a firefighter responding to a fire. So dashed is the correct answer. Now for question 45. The athlete blank along the road. Our choices are A, staggered, B, hurried, or C, sprinted. An athlete is someone who is fit and active. Hurried means to move quickly, but not at top speed. It's a good, neutral way to describe an athlete moving along a road when nothing specific about their speed is mentioned. Staggered suggests unsteady movement, perhaps like someone is hurt or very tired, which doesn't usually describe an athlete in this context. Sprinted is a very fast burst of running, and the sentence doesn't indicate that the athlete is running as fast as they possibly can. So hurried is the most appropriate word. Next up, question 46. The baker blank over the low fence. The options are A, jumped, B, ran, or C, trotted. The key words here are over the low fence. This tells us that the baker moved from one side of the fence to the other by going above it in a single motion. Jumped is the action of pushing off the ground to propel oneself into the air and over something. Ran means moving quickly on the ground, but not necessarily over an obstacle. Trotted is a type of running, often used to describe how animals like horses move, and it also doesn't involve going over something. So jumped is the correct action. Finally, question 47. The thief blank around the house. Our choices are A, jumped, B, dived, or C, prowled. A thief, by nature, wants to be quiet and unnoticeable, moving carefully to avoid being seen or heard. Prowled means to move around stealthily, as if hunting, often quietly and secretly. This fits a thief's behavior very well. Jumped and dived are sudden and usually more noticeable actions, which a thief would want to avoid. Therefore, prowled is the best word to describe how a thief would move around a house.
Okay, verbal reasoning. Now you just have to fit one letter into there. And there's only one correct answer for these. It always has to make two words. So you've got epic and cart for this. You got lamp and pour. You got yank and keep. way and yelp, band and dark, and
Let's keep working on our words and explore some more interesting relationships between them. For question 6, we're looking for synonyms. Remember, synonyms are words that have a very similar meaning. We need to choose one word from group 1 and one from group 2 that are closest in meaning. Group 1 gives us a quick, B small, C rough. Group 2 gives us D early, E sharp, F tiny. Let's think about these words. Small means little in size, and tiny also means very little in size. They are very close in meaning, so the correct answer is B small and F tiny. Now, why aren't the others right? Quick means fast, and early means before the usual time, so they don't match. Rough means not smooth, and it doesn't have a partner in the second group. Sharp is about something having a point or being clever, and it doesn't mean small. Moving on to question 7, we're looking for synonyms again. One word from each group that means almost the same thing. Group 1, A begin, B mend, C shout. Group 2, D sad, E start, F flat. Let's think about begin and start. Both of these words mean to commence or to get something going. If you begin a task, you start a task. They are definitely synonyms. So the correct answer is A begin and E start. Why don't the other words work? Mend means to repair something, and it doesn't have a matching synonym in the second group. Shout means to yell loudly. Sad is an emotion, like feeling unhappy, and flat describes a surface that is smooth or even, or a sound that is dull. None of these match begin or start. Now for question 8, another synonyms question. Let's find those matching meanings. Group 1, A, brave, B, early, C, heavy. Group 2, D, light, E, tidy, F, bold. Think about someone who is brave. They are not afraid of danger. What about bold? Bold also describes someone who is courageous and not afraid. These two words are very close in meaning, so the correct answer is A, brave, and F, bold. Let's see why the others aren't a match. Early doesn't have a synonym in the second group. Heavy and light are actually opposites, not synonyms. Tidy means neat and organized, and it doesn't match brave, early, or heavy. Finally, for question 9, we're looking for antonyms. Remember, antonyms are words that mean the opposite of each other. We need to choose one word from each group that are most opposite in meaning. Group 1, A late, B tidy, C whisper. Group 2, D bright, E early, F carpet. Think about the word late. If you are late, you arrive after the expected time. What is the opposite of that? If you arrive before the expected time, you are early. So late and early are definite antonyms. Therefore, the correct answer is A late and E early. Why aren't the other words opposites? Tidy means neat, and there isn't a clear opposite for it in the second group. Whisper is a very quiet sound, but bright is about light, and carpet is a type of floor covering, so they aren't opposites. For question 10, we're looking for antonyms again. Remember, antonyms are words that mean the opposite of each other. We need to choose one word from group 1 and one from group 2 that are most opposite in meaning. Group 1 gives us hot, B simple, C slow. Group 2 gives us D tidy, E chair, F cold. Let's think about hot. If something is hot, it has a high temperature. The opposite of hot is cold, which means it has a low temperature. They are direct opposites, so the correct answer is A, hot, and F, cold. Why don't the others work? Simple doesn't have a clear opposite in the second group. Slow means moving at not a fast pace, and it's not the opposite of tidy, meaning neat, chair, a piece of furniture, or cold. Now, let's look at question 11, another antonyms question. Let's find those opposites. Group 1, A, agree, B, high, C, noisy. Group 2, D, contradict, E, chair, F, tidy. Think about the word agree. When you agree with someone, you share the same opinion or say yes together. What's the opposite of that? Contradict means to say the opposite or to go against what someone else says. They are definitely opposites. So the correct answer is A, agree, and D, contradict. Why aren't the other words opposites? High means great in vertical extent, and it doesn't have an opposite in the second group. Noisy means making a lot of sound, and it's not the opposite of chair or tidy. All right, let's switch gears a bit and try to find some hidden 4-letter words. These are tricky puzzles where a 4-letter word is hidden by joining 2 words together in a sentence. You need to look at the last letter of the first word and the first few letters of the next word to see if they spell out a new word. For question 12, the sentence is, we watched the arrow hit the straw target. We need to circle the pair of adjacent words next to each other, that hides a 4-letter word. Let's look at the choices. A we watched, E and wa doesn't make a word. B, watch the D and TH doesn't make a word. C, the arrow. If we take the H and E from the and the A and R from arrow, we can spell out the word here. That's a real 4-letter word. D, arrow hit. W and high doesn't make a word. E, the straw. East and saint doesn't make a word. So the correct answer is C, the arrow, because it hides the word here. Let's try question 13. The sentence is, we chose a fine area for our picnic today. Again, we're looking for a hidden 4-letter word between 2 adjacent words. Let's check the choices. A, we chose, E, and CH doesn't make a word. B, chose AE, and A doesn't make a word. C, a fine, A, and phi doesn't make a word. D, fine area. If we take the N and E from fine and the A and R from area, we can find the word near. That's a real 4-letter word. E, area 4. A and faux doesn't make a word. So the correct answer is D, fine area, because it hides the word near. One more of these. Question 14. We found the house at the end of the lane. Let's find that hidden 4-letter word. Let's go through the choices. A we found, E and faux, doesn't make a word. B, found the, D and TH doesn't make a word. C, the house, E and ho doesn't make a word. D, house at. If we take the S and E from house and the A and to from at, we can spell out the word seat. That's a real 4-letter word. E at the, T and TH doesn't make a word. So the correct answer is D, house at, which hides the word seat. You're doing a fantastic job with these word puzzles.
Question 1 on nonverbal reasoning now. With these ones, these are odd one out. So you have to find a rule that is similar between all of the 4 options, but different in all of the other options. So I've got these all marked out already. So the first one, what's similar between 4 options? Well, they all have slanted sides, right? Except for option D, which has a straight side. If you actually look at it, unrub it, you can see it's a straight side, so option D is the odd one out. Question 2, you've got all 4 of these, A to D, they all have a black circle that is basically on the edge of the triangle, whereas option E, you've got it on top of the triangle, like going across. So that's the odd one out. Question 3, where option B is the only one that doesn't have this sort of white rectangle at the bottom, so that's going to be odd. Question 4, all of the options, A to D, they all have the same 3 shapes. Option E has 3 different shapes, so it's going to be the odd one out. Question 5, all the options have a circle inside the shape. This one has a square. That's going to be the odd one out. Okay, now we're on to similarities. So this one, these are 3 ice cones. Each of them have a white ice cream section, right? So the only one that is similar is the one that has white, which is option A. For question 7, we have triangles that have a square inside. So only E is another triangle that has a black square inside. That's the most similar. Question 8. This one's a bit trickier because it's like a rule system. So you've got here, if it's grey, it should have 2 horizontal sort of looking patterns, right? It's grey. And if it's black, it should be 2 vertical patterns. Now C has too many patterns. It's got 3 patterns. This has only got 1. This has only got 1. This has only got none, right? So option D is the only one that actually has 2 patterns, right? And it's also grey and it's vertical and it's horizontal, matching the rule. So option D is the most similar. Question 9, what we have here is the shape inside this chicken should always be a semicircle. Now that leaves us with either C or D. But the shape inside also shouldn't be white. It should have some sort of pattern in it. So it can't be C. D is our correct answer. Question 10. This is very simple, this one. It's just got a circle and then a heart and then a star. And it's the same pattern on all of these, right? The only one that has that pattern is option B.
So now I'm going to be going through the analogy section of MBR. And we've got two boxes. And the first one changes into the second one. And then we apply that change to this box to leave us with the answer option. So for question 11 we had a pentagon, which is a 5-sided shape, and then after it's changed into a triangle, which is a 3-sided shape. So the number of sides has -2. So here we have a hexagon, which is a 6-sided shape. -2 will leave us with a 4-sided shape. We can rule out those two options because we've got triangle, semicircle and pentagon, which none of those are 4-sided. And then that leaves us with A and D. The answer is A because the colour of the shape has not changed. It was white here and it's white here. So it's not going to change to black, so it's not D. Question 12. Here we had a circle as the inside shape. That's now the outside shape. So here we have the triangle as the inside shape. So that will now be the outside shape. And then we had a hexagon as the outside shape, and then that's now the inside shape. So here the square was the outside shape, so the square will now be the inside shape. So the answer is D. Next thing, we've got this arrow and it's now orientated this way. So it's moved 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise. So if we move this arrow 90 degrees clockwise, it will end up looking like that. So that leaves us with the answer, which is C. And just to confirm, the circle was here in this corner and then it moves to the end. So the circle will be at the end here, and sorry, I forgot to draw the last bit. The circle will be here at the end. So yeah, C is the answer. Next question, we had a triangle and one line, and now we have a square, 4-sided shape, and 2 lines inside. So the bigger shape, so we've gone from a 3-sided shape and we've added 1 to leave us with a 4-sided shape. So here we have a 4-sided shape, a rectangle. Add 1 will leave us with a 5-sided shape. So we're going to have a pentagon. So we can rule out those 3 because that's a hexagon and these are 4-sided shapes, rectangle and square. And then we have to have 2 lines on the inside, so it'll be B. Last question for that analogy. We have this rhombus and it's split into black and white. Or you can see it as 2 triangles joined together, split into black and white. And now they've both rotated 180 degrees and are now the points of them are touching. So if we flip these 2 shapes individually over, we'll be left with that. And also the black and white flips, so the black bit will be at the bottom now, which will leave us with C. So that's the end.
7 times 9, that should give you 63. So you put the 3 here, put the 6 carried. Now you do 7 times 4, which is 28. And then you add the 6 to that, and that should give you 34. And you put that there, 343. So it's the same for all of these. So here are the answers for these ones. There's no point me walking through each of them one by one. Just use the same method. And if you made a mistake, you probably have multiplied something wrong. For example, 3 times 6 is 18. So if you got that wrong, if you got this answer wrong, you probably made a mistake on one of them. So just try them again. Now with the double digit ones, it's the same idea. If you do 1 times 5, you do 5. And then 1 times 1, you get 1. If you had to carry, you would do it normally. And then you move on to the next one. So you've got 7 right here. Now you do 7 times 5. And you would put your answer below. But before you move on to below, what you have to do is put a placeholder 0. Right? And then you do 7 times 5. which is 35. And you put that here, you carry the 3 as normal, and you do 7 times 1, that's 7, add the 3, you get 10. Now you've got two lines, so you've got line 1 and line 2, right? You just add these together, that'll give you 5, 6, and 10. So 10, 1065. Yeah, there you go. And there you go, you got your answer right there, which is option C. So same idea for this one. Again, maybe I'll write it here because there's a bit more space. So you do 2 times 9, that's 18. 2 times 2 is 4. Add the 1 that's carried. That gives you, 5. And then you do a 0 because there's another digit, you're moving on to the 4 now. And then you do 4 times 9, which is 36. Carry the 1, I'm going to cancel this because I've already used it. And then you do 4 times 2, add the 6, so that's 8, add the 3. 4 times 2, add the carried 3, and that should give you 11. 4 times 2. Yep, and then you add these together, so you get 8. 5 plus 6 is 11, so you carry the 1. Now you got 1 plus 1, which is 2, and then 1 plus 0 is 1. And you got your answer right here, 1218. So do the same thing for these ones as well, and then let's look at short division. So 3 with division, it's just you ask how many times does the left number go into the first digit. If it doesn't go into the first digit, then you ask how many times does it go into the first 2 digits, right? So once you find a number that it goes into, so 3 goes into 22, 3 times 7 is 22, so you put the 7 at the top. And what's the answer to 3 times 7? It's actually 21. And then what we're doing here is we're finding the remainder, so we minus it, and that gives us 1. So there's one remainder, we've put our answer 7 at the top, and that's okay. And now you ask how many times is 3, you go into this new number at the bottom, which is 1. Again, 3 doesn't go into 1, 1 is too small, so what we can do is we can bring the 8 down, and then we can ask how many times does 3 go into 18. So 3 goes into 18 6 times, and again we put our answer here, 3 times 6 is 18, and we subtract it and we've got no remainder, so our answer here is 76. So here are the answers for all of these. I'll show you quickly the 3-digit ones. Same method. How many times does 7 go into 3? It doesn't, right? So then you take the next 2. So you do how many times does 7 go into 32? Well, I believe it is 4 times, and that will give us 28. 7 times 4 is 28. And then we subtract, because we want to find the remainder, right? So what we get from this is 4. And now, does 7 go into 4? No. So we have to bring the 9 down, the next number. So now does 7 go into 49? Yes, it does. 7 times. 7 times 7 is also 49, and there is no remainder. So our answer here is 47. Looks like I might have mistaken this, but that should be 47. So I mean, here are the correct answers. Sorry, I misselected the wrong one. So 18, 19, and 20 got D, C, and A. But again, we've seen the method for all of these, so you should be okay with this. And let me just double check this one. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's go on to decimals now. So this is short maths decimals. So these are ones that you could actually do in your head. A quick way to do these in your head is just add the integers, right? So 4 add 2 is 6. And if you add the decimal points as well, 5 add 3 is 8. So you'd get 6.8, right? Same with this one. If you add the 8 and the 1, that will give you 9. Now, if you add the 4 and the 7, that will give you 11. So that means you have to actually do that, 10.1. Now, if you can't do that in your head, just do it like this in the long addition. And all you have to do is bring the decimal point to the same place. So this is 11, and then that gives you 10, right? And same with this one, 0.7 and 0.5. You add these, you should get 12, and then you There you go, 1.2. You bring the decimal point down to the same position. So here are the answers to the addition ones. Let's look onto the subtraction ones. So again, with this one, is you can do this in your head. If you minus just 1 from 9, you'll get 0.8. With this one, if you minus the 3 from the 8, you'll get 0.5. 6 from the 7, and for this one, 2 from the 5, you get 0.3. Yeah, it's the same thing. If you want to do it in a long subtraction way, you just bring the decimal point down. So now with multiplication, this one you probably have to do in log multiplication, but all you have to do with this is you have to count how many numbers are behind the decimal point. So there's only one number behind the decimal point, so when we get our answer, we make sure there's only one number behind the decimal point, okay? So just do normal multiplication now, so 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 1 is 4. Now, we should only have one number behind the decimal point, so we put our answer there, 4.8, right? So it looks like I've circled the one on this one. Okay, same thing with question 34. You get 3.2. You times these two, and you times the 3 and the 3, 9. And you do one decimal point behind it, because you can see there's only one number behind the decimal point. So that's how you do these ones. Let's move on to the division questions. So you're gonna have to do it like this. Now, you would usually do this, but you can see there's a decimal point. So how you would do it is you do it normally. You do 2 into 4, which is 2, and now you bring the decimal point up when you come across it, right? So you come across the decimal point, and then we do how many times is 2 go into 6, and that is 3 times, and then you go, your answer right here is 2.3. So option C. Now same with this. How many times does 5 go into 6? Once. And now we have to do this. Sorry, I didn't do that on the other one because it went indirectly, right? Anyway, that gives us a remainder of 1, and we have to bring the decimal point up. And then we can bring our 5 down. And 5 into 15 is 3, and there we go, 1.3. So I'll do the other ones because these are a bit hard as well. 9.6. So 3 goes into 9 3 times. Now, you don't really have to do this part when it goes in directly, but bring the decimal point up. How many times does 3 go into 6? 2 times. So you got your answer right there, 3.2. And same with this one. 4 goes into 8 2 times, and 4 goes into 1 time, and you do the decimal point there, 2.1. Okay, so now times by 10. So this is very easy. All you have to do is move the decimal point 1 time to the right. So what you should get is 2.0, which is this one, or 8.0, which is this one. If you move this one, you'll get 1.0, and if you do this one, you get 13, or 13.0. But that's the same answer, right? Question 45. So easiest way to do these ones is asking you to arrange from smallest to largest. Just look at the left column, which one has the smallest number. So you can already cancel out A you can already cancel out A because it's got the biggest number here. If you look at the second column, you can cancel out C because this is too big, right? And now you're left with either B or D. And if you look at the third column, they're the same, these ones. Now we've got 3.8 here, and you've got 3.9 at the end. So B is the answer. What I've done there basically is I've looked at, first of all, we know 3.4 should be at the start and 3.9 should be at the end. B is the only one that has that. And again, the quick way to do that is just look at the columns and spot which one's got the lowest first. Or you could just look. So you can read all of these, right? You can read all the options. You can see, you should know 1.8 is the smallest, which is 1. And the other ones are bigger than 1. They're all like 2, 3, 4, etc. And you know 9.2 is the biggest, right? So which one of these is 1 at the start and 9.2 at the end? Only A and D. Now let's look in between that. D has got 8.7 before 5.4. That's not correct, right? So it can't be D. It has to be B. Okay, decimal problem solving. 5 minutes for these ones. Richard buys a notebook that costs this amount. and the pen costs this amount. So work out the total cost. So you just have to add these together here. Now, 9 plus 8 is 17. Carry the 1. 7 plus, you have to do 1 plus 1, which is 9. You bring the decimal point down, and then you do 10 here. 10.97. Okay, Holly is saving money. In January, she saves this amount, this amount, and this amount. How much does she save in total? Again, you just have to add these together. And when you're adding, always line up the decimal points here. Because that way you can put the decimal point down here, and now you can add very normally. So this should give you 14. This should give you 13. This should give you 17. And that should give you 3. And you get 37.34. Now, David has 4.8 miles. He drives 4.8 miles and he drives 6.7. Again, just asking you to add these together. Because you've got driving 4.8 and then you're driving even more. So if you add those together, that should give you 15. And bring the decimal point down, and that should give you 11.5. Okay, final section, fractions. What's the fraction of the shaded area? So these, all you have to do here is count up how many pieces there are, how many slots there are really. So this has got 12 total if you count all of them. And how many are shaded? Only 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer here is 5 out of 12. 5 out of 12. The same for 53. There are, it looks like 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total, and 8 are shaded, so it's going to be 8 out of 9. This one's going to be 6 out of the 8 are shaded. This one is 9 out of the 12 are shaded.